Welcome everyone on this very wet Thursday, or it is where I'm based in Oxfordshire anyway. I don't know about you. But tonight, it's a very, very exciting night. You'll see if you've been listening in right from the start of my podcasts, my Instagram TV, my Facebook lives, my YouTube videos, this goes everywhere, that I have been interviewing mostly women, but previously it was people that had changed their business and had to adapt since the pandemic, and a little bit of network marketing every other week as well, because that's what my background is. However, moving forward, the format has changed slightly because it's all about women empowering women. So you might be a woman in business, you might be looking to start out in business, you might know someone that could really do with hearing from this tonight. So make sure you like and share with anybody you think that this could help as we go through. Feel free to comment, because we will get back to you. If it's not live, if you're listening on the replay, then just comment replay, and myself and my very special guest will be back to you, I promise. So the lady I'm interviewing tonight, I've actually known her for about 10 to 15 years. We're trying to work it out. She's actually a mutual friend of a very good friend of mine, but really we've known each other when we've been out and about at mutual parties, having a little bit of this and a good old natter. We had one thing in common. We were both single mums and we were both very hard workers, but I never actually looked in too much to what she did, apart from I knew she was a marketing background. And not so long ago, she reached out to me on Instagram, so a new platform that I've been learning and trying to get my head round, and she reached out to me and we connected. And since then, I saw so much of what she did and how much she could help me. So although I've got a very successful business, which I've been running for 15 years, I've had various businesses in the past, I just felt like I needed a bit of guidance, a bit of coaching to take me into the future, because we're never the finished version. So I couldn't think of anyone better to be a personal coach to me than this lady here. Please welcome Cassie Bray. Hey Cassie, how you doing?
Hi Nat, good evening. Well, thanks for that introduction. Wow, I feel like I should be on a pedestal now.
Oh, well, you are on Nat's Natter. What more pedestal do you like?
I've made it, Nat.
You have. So we've been having quite a bit of fun over the past 6 weeks, 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
It's flown by, hasn't it? I'm probably one of the worst clients, because trying to pin me down and entrepreneurial, I change my ideas all the time of what I'm looking to do. So
we can never plan a session.
You never know what you're getting with me, do you, Cassie?
It's always fun.
And tonight, you don't know what you're getting, because you are in the hot seat. So, Cassie, let's start off with just, saying to people, you had a very successful career that you left very recently. Just share with people a little bit about your background and how you made that decision.
Yeah. So I kind of was always really entrepreneurial from a young age. Typical child, selling candles, selling brownies. I did a bit of everything. And then actually when I was in my kind of early 20s, I actually spent time living overseas. I imported goods from Indonesia into the UK, and then came back to the UK when I was in my early 20s, kind of about 24, 25, settled into a relationship and thought, do you know what, I'll get a proper job. And I got a proper job, and like loads of us out there, jumped on that kind of corporate hamster wheel, had a family, progressed, promotion, got a divorce, as we both have. And suddenly then, it was, I was doing really well at work, promotion, and suddenly the risk, I was dreaming of starting my own business again, because I'd run all these businesses, but actually the risk of kind of jumping out and doing that when I had a house, child, everything to pay for was huge for me. But I couldn't kind of get rid of that yearning, that yearning for the freedom.
It's really hard. And I think, we'll have so many people listening in that are, career focused or, in jobs. And you get on that treadmill when you've got a mortgage to pay, kids to look after. Making that big change can be really, really frightening. And obviously with the pandemic, sadly, a lot of people haven't had the choice about change. But the great thing is there's a lot of people now starting out in business and taking the step, because some that they've had to, some have been pushed to, and others have just had the courage now to change, because actually working from home, they've realized actually that's where I want to be. So your background, who did you actually work for before?
So I worked for a Chamber of Commerce. We were Herefordshire and Worcestershire, which is where we're both from. And I kind of rose throughout the ranks to kind of looking after all of their business development, all of their kind of membership. So I ran memberships, I ran support for businesses, looking after companies from very, very tiny startups to actually big kind of household names. So the likes of Worcester Bosch, Morgan Motor Company were all kind of my clients. So I had a real cross section of experience. But I suppose I got to at the end just that desire to see, firstly, there just seemed to be no women around the boardrooms that I was working in. You know, there were some, but it was mainly, you know, men in suits. And I just ended up spending my evenings and my weekends at networking functions, at hospitality, taking people to rugby. And actually, suddenly for me, the balance of my own personal life and being a good mum and doing all of those things, and the job just kind of really fell out of kilter. And I think lockdown then made me reflect, like, you know, and like you say, you know, it's been a really challenging period for a lot of people, you know, and I was fortunate that I wasn't impacted in that way. But what it did do for me is make me think, actually, is this actually really what I want to do? You know, I'm about to turn 40. I've just turned 40. Oh, I share my age on social media.
Well, you're 45 like me. You're a little bit behind me.
No, but it just makes, it's that time in your life where it makes you reflect. And I think got to the point for me that actually the risk of kind of jumping and suddenly panicking about paying the bills and things was actually outweighed by the desire in me to just make a change and to make.
It's interesting that, you know, we just said actually there's 5 years between us, and it just made me think of having a 5-year plan and having a 5-year vision. And something that I very much teach people working with me is to write a day in their life 5 years from now and what you're going to be doing. And, you know, that was one exercise that I did years ago. And, you know, I'm totally living the life that I described. But if you don't have the courage to make the change, I mean, look back 5 years previous, you'd probably be in exactly the same situation. So it is just having the courage to jump and do it.
And you're right. I've got so many books and notebooks. My friends used to laugh at me. I would go for dinner and we'd be all there having a glass of wine, and they'd be like, right, what's the latest business venture that you're planning that you aren't actually doing because you're too scared to make that step? I've got all of these books with, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. But it does take.
With so many different clients from the chamber, you know, you've seen all types of businesses. So got that experience too. Which is probably why you had so many different business ideas. You were inspired by so many people, but it was just taking that jump for yourself. So now, Cassie, just explain to people what you do and how you've been helping me and how you can help other people.
Yeah. So I suppose I've really focused in, having worked with lots of men in suits, I really wanted to kind of work with women, and I feel there's a real need to kind of help empower women. So I suppose the crux of what I do and the way that I work with people is I actually help them create a really clear vision on what they want to achieve and actually how they're going to get there by creating a simple, and it sounds simple, but a simple action plan and strategies, and really unpicking their own business and trying to identify what are the kind of needle movers in their business, what are the things that are going to make their business succeed, and how can we create a plan, not quite a five-year vision, but a 3-month or a 12-month vision to get that business moving forward. And, you know, different people have different requirements. Some people might want to scale their business. Others might want to prepare for selling their business in the future. And other might just actually want to start creating an additional income, a side hustle that then becomes their full-time career.
Talking side hustle, then obviously that's my forte. However, what I wanted to say there, Cassie, is, you know, working with you, know, I've been in this industry now for 15 years and not really worked with a business coach or had some eyes looking from the outside. And I suppose we've become very tunnel visioned. You know, we've been doing it the same way, doing the same thing. And it's kind of having some fresh eyes. And I guess that's really part of what you do, is make you see things maybe that you hadn't seen before.
Totally. And you know what? I don't think I can't do it for myself. I have people that help me see for my business what I want to do and how I should kind of drive my business forward. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, you've got so many ideas in your head. And I know when I come in and work with you, Nat, you're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And you have to kind of unpick, okay, right, which of those ideas are going to be the really powerful ones? Let's hone in, let's get a plan around that idea, and let's create a strategy, whether that's Instagram, whether that's marketing, whether that's changing your pricing, whether that's working with new businesses. But it's about kind of really trying to unpick everything that's in that entrepreneur's head and get it down on paper into a plan that they can then follow, and still go off on lots of tangents and curveballs, because that's what entrepreneurs do, and that's why we love them. But actually it helps them make sure that they achieve some of their objectives that possibly sometimes entrepreneurs just get so caught up in the day-to-day of running the business and doing a million things at once that they don't have the focus to just to hit some of those key goals.
Yeah, and two things I think you've helped me with, Cassie, is one, actually looking at myself and what my skills are and what I can outsource, because, you know, it's all about freeing up time, isn't it? You know, I want to be working far less hours and enjoying life because I'm in the position that I can, and not being caught up with the little stuff that I could be outsourcing. So, you know, that was really good for me. But also, along with the brand photographer that I had on last week. So if you go back on Instagram TV, you'll see Maria, amazing brand photographer, doing some virtual photo shoot for me, which was just a brand new experience and just shows, you know, what the pandemic has taught people to do. But yourself and her made me realize that actually I needed a whole rebranding, because my last branding was done when I was pregnant at 40 with Phoebe, who's now 4. And, you know, it was all like pale pink, yummy mummy. And that's not me anymore. And you just said to me, it's not shouting out what it needs to do. And particularly with my Instagram, which if you look on that, you'll see the changes that have been happening. So if you just look for my name, Natalie Healy Shields, then you will find that there.
And sometimes it's really hard to see that for yourself, isn't it? Sometimes it's really hard to see, well, okay, I created this brand at this point, but actually, does that really resonate with me? And that's what we kind of looked at. Well, what are you all about? What are your values? What are we trying to do? You're inspiring people. You've achieved such huge success, yet your colours weren't kind of resonating that success.
Yeah, it's all a bit wishy-washy and a bit, you know, I'm a bit back here. And, you know, I do have a very shy side to me that, you know, that I think we all have, but you learn to overcome it. But those colours were showing the shy person that maybe I was 15 years ago, rather than the person that I've become through experience, through success, through helping other people. So it was kind of seeing that change, and already we're getting results from it. So Cassie's been helping me, particularly with my Instagram, which I'm very new to. And I have to say, you know, reels were totally out of my comfort zone. But Cassie, what have you done to me?
You are the queen of reels now. I mean, I have to tell everyone, I can't actually tell Nat about my new reel idea before I have a go at it myself, because otherwise she just stomps it. I had an idea. I told her yesterday. By the time I've got up in the morning, she's already put it on and got like 4,000 likes in 20 minutes.
So she told me the importance of it. And, you know, with Cassie, what I can say is she's super, super patient. My technical skills are not good at all. So literally she's been going through how to do these videos, how to cut them, how to put the wording on, because I was like, oh my word, I haven't got a clue. So it's all kind of things that you can be helping people with. So next question, Cassie, what is the most important factor when it comes to marketing your business?
Do you know, I think the key thing I think that people sometimes miss out on is actually really knowing who their actual customer is, who, like, getting to know their ideal customer, and not just, so I might sell a product. So for example, with your Forever products, you could say actually all women can buy them or all men can buy them. But actually, the most important thing when it comes to marketing is really drilling down into exactly who, and there might be a couple of different people that you're targeting that product at. They call it a customer avatar or a buyer persona.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, we do toothpaste. Everybody brushes their teeth, but not everybody is my ideal client, because not everybody is going to relate to me and buy from me. So that's what you're talking about now, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you've probably got 3 or 4 different customers, one that might buy because they relate to you, one that might buy because of the kind of the natural side of the product and their own health and well-being thoughts. And it's actually then trying to unpick those individual people and say, right, who are they? And not just, okay, they're a female, but how old are they? Where do they live? What do they read? Are they on social media? Are they on Instagram or Facebook? Who do they follow? Who do they like? Who are their people that they aspire to? I don't know, are they following healthy food people? Are they following nutritionists? And then actually starting to really unpick. And then most importantly, when you start to work through that, is actually starting to think, well, what are their challenges? What are the things that are keeping them awake at night? Is it that they've got weight problems? Is it that they've got health issues? They've got, you know, we've talked about the products and how. Yes.
And again, you know, I think it's important as well for people to know that their ideal client can change with them. So for me, you know, my ideal client when I was 30 is very different to the one that I am 45, you know, going through menopause, premenopause. So those are the people I need to be talking to now. So it's learning to adapt and then having, you know, content pillars. That was a new word to me, Cassie.
But it's changed
in business.
No, but you know what, Nat, you are a natural. You were doing it in your own way. I've just given you the titles to put on all these different things. But you're right. It's then saying, right, well, if I am talking to those people that are going through perimenopause, menopause, then actually, what kind of messaging do I need to use when I promote my products? It's not the same messaging and wording as I would do if I was promoting my products to the 30-year-olds. And everyone, you're right, everyone needs to keep kind of working through that. So, and then really talking to those pain points that they've got, you know, trying to understand how you can help them overcome those barriers and how your products and services will. And I tend to find when companies actually really do that hard work, it's not easy. You know, when we sat and went through content pillars and things like that, and then worked out exactly which hashtags were right for those particular content pillars. But the results that we have after doing that, the messaging, it's like the engagement that you get on your Instagram, for example, is just like tenfold.
Yeah. And, you know, the beauty of it as well is if you invest in this and getting it right, you waste far less time because you're not spending ages thinking, what am I going to post? I need to post something today. What's it going to be? Because you know your subjects, your topics, and the best time to do it. So everything is just far more fluid, which is why you're getting the results. So what would you say, Cassie, is the most common issue that female business owners come to you with?
I think there's probably 2. One of them, which taps into everything you've just said about knowing when to post, how to post, and not feeling like you're on social media all the time, is actually time. It's a huge challenge trying to juggling work, life, children, family, trying to be good at everything.
And I know, you know, being a mum and working with the majority of the people I work with are mums too. It's having the guilt. You know, when you're working, you feel guilty that you're not doing things with the kids or getting things prepared with the kids. When you're with the kids, you're guilty you're not putting time into your business. So it is just that constant juggling act, isn't it? So I suppose learning time management, which is something that you're amazing at, is a great skill to be there for any mum.
Yeah, and I think it's sometimes there's some really easy hacks that women can put in place to try and, well, women and men, it doesn't matter, but talking kind of female entrepreneurs here, to try and help them organize and kind of categorize their week so that we can all be caught up in that kind of I used to call it at work, it was the email bubble that would pop through and you'd feel like I've got to respond straight away. Whereas actually I'm like, turn that bubble off, choose when you look at social media, choose when you do it. And actually let's take your diary and let's plan out some time when you're going to, for example, I don't know, Monday might be your CEO day and you do your admin and all the things that you need to do to run your business. And then Tuesday, let's identify all of your tasks and let's put all of the ones that are linked to clients or sales or marketing, whatever it is, into that day so that you do them all at the same time. It just makes you so much more efficient. And it's a hard skill to teach yourself in terms of not jumping and responding straight away, because we're in that world of social media where everyone has an instant response.
Putting things in your diary, isn't it? And treating it as part of your day. I actually went for a massage this week with an incredible lady who I'm also going to be interviewing very soon on here, actually. And she's very much into meditation. And she just said, I have issues with my neck because I slipped a disc in it a few years ago, so I still carry stress here. And she said, if you meditate every day, it will self recover, if you like. It helps your body recover when you can focus on it. And I said, I always just forget to do it, and someone to do a gratitude journal, but I listen to things every day. But having that time to meditate is something that I've always wanted to do. And she said, well, what would you do if it was work? I said, well, I'd put it in my diary. It's simple. But sometimes it takes someone to tell you to do it to be able to make it happen.
Yeah. And it's all too easy just to put the work things in. But absolutely, the whole point of juggling is that we have to schedule time. We can't, I didn't leave my 9 to 5 plus career to try and actually replicate that. I want to be able to see my daughter when she gets off the bus if she's not doing sports one evening, or I want to be able to take the odd Friday afternoon where I go and do something, go for lunch with my friends for a change, because that's why I chose to make that change. But it's all about scheduling that in.
Sometimes and you're so busy being busy, you forget why you did it in the first place, to have that flexibility and that time. So it's important to reap the benefits of working for yourself and being an entrepreneur. So what would you say, Cassie, is the one thing that slows down most businesses?
I would say, and it's something you touched on at the beginning, that I kind of worked with you on, is making sure the business owners work in their zone of genius. And kind of, it sounds like a kind of odd phrase, but what I mean by that is we've all got things that we love doing. We love, like you, Nat, you love talking to people, you love talking about the products, you love talking with your team. That's your zone of genius. I know you say you feel sometimes that you're shy, but actually you're brilliant at it. And then there's things that aren't necessarily, that aren't my zone of genius or aren't your zone of genius. For me, I'm like you, I love talking to people. I can do spreadsheets and I can do finance, but I couldn't do that day in, day out, because for my business anyway, because that, to do my finances and my accounts is not enjoyable. It doesn't make my heart sing. And actually the thought of doing it is something that I put off and put off and put off. So I realized that for me, I need to work in my zone of genius. I need to delegate that to someone else. That's a task that if it's there on my shoulders, it weighs me down and slows me down, because I keep thinking, oh, I haven't done that. And then I feel like I can't go on and do the things that are going to generate me lots of money, like sell products and services, because I have this task behind me. So
it's working out what you're good at and outsourcing the things that you're not bad at, but you don't enjoy. So you don't put your passion in. So it takes longer. So it makes sense to outsource that, because you're going to be more financially benefiting from the things that you're great at, which is just going to speed your business up in the long run.
Totally. And we all make mistakes. I mean, I remember when I first, 6 months ago, when I first set my business up, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna set my own website up. I can do this. I can do it. But oh God, it takes forever to do. And it just slowed me down until I realized that actually that's something I just need to outsource. And so I think, lots of people, even from anything, from at home, what would I rather spend my time doing? Cleaning my house or selling a few more products so I can...
That was my first goal 15 years ago, to get a cleaner, because I hate cleaning. And now, my word, I wouldn't be without my angel, I call her. She's actually with me 3.5 days a week now. So a little bit extravagant, but it makes my life easier, makes me more productive, because I'm not stressed if the house is messy, because I like it to be really clean. So everyone listening in, if you're loving this, if you're getting benefit of it, then please share it onto your social media platforms, tag people, because it's all about women supporting women, empowering each other. And by sharing this, you might be able to help one of your friends looking for that inspiration, that help, that clarity right now. So Cassie, what's the most powerful thing anyone listening to today can do to grow their business?
I think it's getting clear on some goals for me. That would be decide, and it doesn't have to be a huge science, but what do you want to achieve this year? How much money do you want to make? Is that 50,000, 5,000, 100,000? And then I think the key thing is working back from those goals and setting. So what I would actually do is take a piece of paper, divide it into four quarters. So if you want to make, let's do 100,000, because that's easy to work with the maths. So if you wanted to make 100,000, but it could equally be 10,000, take that 100,000 and think, right, what do I need to achieve? That's 25,000 per quarter. And actually then on a month by month basis, and I would write this out. So you'd have your piece of paper, each quarter I want 25,000, then I would write each month out and I would work out exactly what that is. So what's that, like 8,000, 7,000? So I would put that in then and think, right, how many of my products or my services do I have to sell to get that? So that might be 10, that might be 100. But then most importantly, for each of those months, I'd actually say, what is the needle mover? And what I mean by that is, what is the thing that's going to move me forward on there? Because it's not the selling of the item. Once you're there, that's fine. But how many, for example, how many direct messages do I need to send to be able to sell 100 products or 10 products? Or how many followers do I need? If I know that actually I can convert 2% of my followers, I need this many followers to do it. And actually really identifying that, because then that becomes your monthly target. And then the most important thing with that piece of paper is that you put it somewhere prominent, whether that's in the kitchen, on the fridge, in your office, somewhere that you look at it every day. Because when you start to look at your goals, you'll be really surprised by how easily you're able to start to achieve them by constantly thinking about them.
Yeah, visualization is a massive, massive thing that I believe in. And actually, I relate goal setting to having that one specific goal, a little bit like if you're going to go over to your friend's house and you've never been there before, if you don't know the postcode, you're going to be going round in circles. But you know the postcode and you go straight there without failing. Well, you might fail a bit along the way, but failure is part of success. Probably the wrong word. But yeah, having your goal is having the sat nav with the correct postcode, and you're just going to go where you need to go to get there. I made the biggest mistake, Cassie, is I didn't set goals for the first 2 years in my business, which is why I was a slow burner. I was a slow starter. But once I first started setting goals and realizing I could do it, I then set the goal. And my biggest tip to anyone is set a goal that scares you rather than something that you feel you can achieve. Yeah. Because you've got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And, also the achieving the goal is a very small part of it. It's the journey getting there that means the most, and what you go through, what you can then teach and have empathy to show with other people, really. And I know, Cassie, you're going to be offering anyone a 10-minute discovery call, so they can just contact you via Instagram. So you've got your handle there at the Bray Partnership, or also through email, and you'll welcome them with open arms, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So, final question in our final minute. Clearly, they don't have to. So, final question in the final minute. What one top tip can you leave with people?
Oh, just do it. I think that's my tip. Perfect. Because so many people are just frightened to get out there. And you know what? even me sitting here and going live, I was like, oh, have a glass of wine, just do it, because actually it's not that bad. And you will be so pleased with the results that it achieves for you.
Absolutely. And you know what I always think is you never want to look back and think, what if? At least you know you've given it your best shot. And, you know, failure is not an option, because you can only fail if you give up on something. So thank you, Cassie, for joining us this evening. I'm sure you're going to have lots of people reaching out to you to just have 10 minutes of your time to see, you know, how you might be able to help them. And I'm sure, you know, they'll find you as inspirational as I do. In fact, you've got someone there, Laura, who actually I work with. She's got about 3 different businesses, spinning plates, great mum.
Fantastic.
Amazing things. So look out for that. Just do it, love it. And there again, you know, another entrepreneur there, Hannah, that we know. So fabulous. Thanks for joining us. And remember, everyone, share. It's about empowering women empowering each other, inspiring each other, helping each other, and having each other's back. So share it with everybody, high and low. Good evening, Cassie. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.